Well, thank you so much for helping my project.
For sure. I'm excited.
Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Anya. I'm turning 27 next week. I grew up in Dubai. I'm originally from India. My family's originally from there, but I grew up in Dubai, moved to the US for college, and I live in San Francisco now.
Wow. What is different about living in Dubai versus living in San Francisco?
Ooh, a lot of things. I would say like growing up in Dubai was super exciting because I kind of grew up there when the city was growing so fast and kind of changing so fast. So it was just cool to be a part of something where I felt like it felt like somewhere where like dreams came true in the sense that like people would visualize, the tallest building in the world, and like 2 years later there it was. So it was just cool. I think it was super inspirational to be somewhere where like, it started out as a desert 40 years ago, and now it's like one of the most exciting, most visited cities in the world. And then I would say like San Francisco, on the other hand, is very, very chill, like very laid back. But I feel like people have this like quiet sense of like motivation and so I think like Dubai is much louder, much more like, it's kind of like extroverted and introverted. But no, both of them have been super fun.
That's interesting. Dubai's extroverted, San Francisco's introverted.
I think like San Francisco, people like to keep to themselves. People are social, but like amongst their small group of people, people are very outdoorsy, which like isn't really the case in Dubai, partly due to the weather. So I would say like very different living experiences, but I think like it's been nice to transition from one to the other.
To get to experience both.
For sure.
Well, did you know that NASA's trying to send astronauts back to the moon?
I did actually. It was actually one of my dreams to work at NASA. Oh. When I was younger. I loved all things space, and I kind of wanted to be an astronaut at one point for a very long time.
And I guess what made you not continue that path?
I think it felt unrealistic at the time. I also I ended up studying math and economics in college, and like those were two subjects I was also very interested in. I think I was torn between studying that and physics in college. Ended up going the math and economics route, and like pursuing finance and like kind of that related path. But I was really just between the two.
Have you seen that movie 100 Million Miles Away?
I haven't actually.
It's about this son of immigrant farmers from like Mexico, and he has a dream of becoming an astronaut. And he goes and gets his pilot's license and scuba license, and wow. He becomes an engineer. He goes to Russia and for his work and learns Russian.
Wow,
and
cool.
He keeps applying year after year. Like he applies like 12 years or 15 years, and finally gets accepted and actually goes to space. It's a real astronaut, Jose Hernandez.
Oh, wow.
So
okay, now I'm gonna go watch that on my flight today.
I think you might like it.
Yeah, it sounds super interesting.
Well, let's see. Whenever you think about the future of humanity, like 200 years out in the future, do you think we're still only on the Earth, or do you think we have people living on the Earth and on the Moon and Mars and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn and all this other?
I feel like I feel like so many of the advancements that I thought that would have kind of materialized by now. I mean, I live in San Francisco. I see these like driverless cars all the time, and they're like causing chaos everywhere.
Oh, are they?
Oh yeah, they're like causing accidents, traffic jams. Like one of them, I think this company called Cruise, got disbanded, or they stopped kind of their vehicles like are no longer on the roads. So it just feels like a lot of these things are taking a lot longer than expected. So like, do I see a world in which like there are humans not living on Earth? Yes, but 200 years probably feels a little too soon for that. I would say maybe more like 500 feels more reasonable to me, but that's just because 200 doesn't seem like a long span of time anymore. I feel like, my grandparents are like at 100 years now, so I feel like just if you put together that plus like their grandparents, like I know there are people alive right now who've known people alive 200 years ago, so it just doesn't feel like that long a span of time to me now. But I would say like probably something like 500 years feels a little more achievable to me.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. 200 years doesn't seem long in one perspective, but if you think back 200 years ago, no
True.
Electric lights, no electricity.
Very true.
No recording of audio.
Yeah.
No electronics, no planes.
That's very true.
It's just kind of, but if you look like the 200 years before that, you didn't have that either. Just like
yeah, that's very
you
fair.
have like these spurts. It's kind of interesting.
No, for sure. I mean, it's a great point. I know we're all kind of working towards that, so I don't think it's impossible, but like I feel like I'm gonna have to see functional driverless cars before I think about a world in which we don't live on Earth.
Talking about cars, I guess the most common reaction I get about that point is like, where's the flying car? You know, because everybody's like, we should have had the flying car by now or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I can't see a world in which like, you know, we don't live on the Earth when like there are, you know, 0.1% of the population that can fly planes or like fly something that can actually get us to another planet. So I would assume it has to become a little more accessible in that sense, and like maybe flying cars is the solution to that.
Now, when you were younger, you wanted to become an astronaut, and so you were willing to take a trip to space.
Oh yeah.
But now you've had a little bit of time past you. You've gotten into
I would
other
still
things.
do it.
You still do it.
I would still do it.
How far would you go?
I go as far as I know I can get there safely and probably return back.
Like, talking about return back, what if they had like a city on Mars and they're like, hey, you know, we could really use some people that can understand economics and stuff.
I think I would go as long as I like had a friend.
Okay.
Or like a family member. One person.
One person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then,
I guess you meet people on the way there.
now, do you think you'll get a chance to go to space in your lifetime?
Probably not.
Oh, no?
I don't see that happening anytime soon, but if it comes up, I'll take it.
I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with me.
Yeah, for sure.